Alright, we're going to be doing the quotient rule chart problem, where you got a chart telling you what everything is. So first, you got h of x equals f of x over g of x. You got to find h prime of x from that, meaning you'll have to use the quotient rule. So you start with u, which would be the top one, f of x, and then v, which is bottom, g of x. Now you got to find out u prime and v prime, which normally you'd have to do power terms rule, but you don't have to. You can just do f prime of x because it's already written up here for you. And then g prime of x, and that's it. So now you just got to turn this into a problem with quotient rule, which would be v times u prime minus u times v prime, all that over v squared. So that is just g of x times f prime of x minus f of x times g prime of x. Now all that is just going to be over g of x squared, which normally you would write as g squared of x, but it means the same thing, and this way makes more sense, will make more sense later on. So you don't have to write it that way. You can just write g squared, or g of x squared, and that is h prime of x. Next you got to find h prime of 2, and that is just up here, but you substitute in for these things. So that would be g of, or no, whoops, that's not the right. First two would be g of x, which you go up here, that's just 2. That's 2 times f prime of x, which is just 5, minus f of x, which is just 1, times g prime of x, which is 4. If up here you had you had multiple things, then you would go by what is in the h prime of x. So it's h prime of 2, so you go and see 2 here. There might be like a 3 here. You wouldn't use that because it's not 3, it's 2. And all this is over g of x squared, which is 2 squared. Then you can just work that out from there, like a regular old algebra problem. H prime of 2 equals 10 minus 4 over 4, which would equal 6 over 4, which would simplify to h prime of 2 equals 3 over 2. And that's the answer there. Isn't that neat?